All right. How about now? Can you hear me now? I just turned off my microphone. Maybe we don't need it today. We don't have much for wind out here. It's actually a very calm day. Now you can. Good deal. Thank you, Dylan, for chiming in. I guess I've been talking to myself for about 4 minutes, but that's all right. Here in a field in Buffalo County on the western fringe of where tar spot's been discovered and confirmed in recent years. It's been here probably in the county for at least a year, maybe two, and is slowly spreading west. It was first confirmed in Nebraska in 2022, I believe, 2021, at the very end of the season. And so we are continuing to track it as it spreads west. One of the things that we're really maybe concerned about is that tar spot has caused significant yield loss in the past, but just because we are finding it this early in the season, it's not necessarily uncommon to find it. I'm standing here, I'll flip this around. Our corn here today is probably around V6, V7. I'll have to get a little bit closer and count some leaves or some nodes here. But what we're going to be doing is I have not found tar spot yet in this field today. Yesterday I came out, I found tar spot. It took me not very long to find it. However, maybe I just got lucky. Beginner's luck for the start of the season is, I think, a very real thing when scouting for disease. And so one of the things, however, that I have found so far is that this field does have a decent amount of northern corn leaf blight. And so you can see here, this cigar-shaped lesion is northern corn leaf blight. That disease likes cooler temperatures. It likes quite a bit of moisture, which we've been getting recently. There's kind of what it looks like maybe on the back as well. Kind of elongated oval with a nice round end. We usually call that a cigar shape lesion. And so we do find quite a bit of that out there in the field today. But the main thing that we're looking for is tar spot. And so I'm going to just turn it around and we're just going to search for a little bit. And maybe we'll get lucky finding this fungal disease with small black spots. And so some big scouting tips that I have for people that are scouting for tar spot. I currently am kind of in the middle of the field. You can see there's a pivot system running out to the edge of the field. I am standing pretty close to the center pivot point. I'm probably only, it looks like I'm maybe 4 spans out, 3 spans out from that center pivot point. Some of my research has shown that tar spot tends to develop more severely when closer to the pivot point. That's mainly because we get longer periods of leaf wetness from our irrigation systems when we're right next to that pivot. Those inner spans move slower. They put out the same volume, same amount of water, but over a longer period of time as it takes longer to go around. So one of the big things that I want to point out first, there are a lot of black spots out in this field, okay? So you see something like that, you may think, oh, tar spot. This is not tar spot, okay? This is something completely different. I bet it's probably dirt. We wipe it off. It's not there anymore, okay? Huge factors. Here's maybe another one right here. Oh, it stayed. So now that we've found this lesion, we've wiped on the front side. Let's see if I can get my camera to focus up. That's a pretty small lesion. I always like to look here at the back side of this leaf as well. And so you can see right here, there is a nice small little pinprick right on the exact same location as where that front lesion is. That right there is tar spot, okay? Just a tiny small little lesion. That is probably all we're really going to find in fields in Nebraska today, because tar spot really is more of a late season disease. We see it here early on before we get into the heat of July. And we've thankfully caught some moisture recently, so that's probably why we're seeing it. But we're seeing it at such low levels, we don't need a fungicide application right now, okay? Let's actually do some growth staging of this corn here. So it looks like here's a leaf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So probably 7 or 8 actually is what we're seeing. This here I think is leaf 8 with that leaf collar. So this is V8 corn. Just about all of our research that we've shown has not shown a good impact or a valuable impact with a fungicide application before V12. V12 is about the earliest we've seen an effective fungicide application that will return, give you a return on that application. Prior to that, we just don't have enough disease. It doesn't last long enough. And if you make an application that early, there's a chance that you may have to come back and apply another one. So you're not getting season-long control with an application this early. What we recommend with tar spot, go out, find it. My first recommendation is always check your hybrid. If you've got corn out there that is susceptible to tar spot, you may struggle with that disease that year. But there are good hybrids out there now. It took a little bit to find some of that, just because the way that tar spot works, it was kind of hard to get residue and leaves and disease in fields to test our different hybrids. But we're moving along now. We've got good hybrids out there. Check your hybrids. If you have a susceptible hybrid, you may need to start thinking about management in the future. And so on top of that, with tar spot, I showed some signs and symptoms. I talked a little bit about the environment. Tar spot really likes that cooler weather, kind of around that 60 degrees. We've actually had pretty good weather here the last couple of days of nice cool temperatures. The highs for the days have been kind of around maybe 70s, 80s, but those midnight temperatures are still getting down quite cool. And those cool overnight temperatures can really help the development of tar spot and other fungal diseases that like cool temperatures, like that northern corn leaf blight that I showed you earlier. Other things that we're seeing in this field, there is quite a bit of like hulkus spot. So this kind of here is another fungal disease. However, hulkus spot, not going to really cause a whole lot of damage to your crop. It's just kind of an aesthetic thing that shows up throughout the year on a lot of our corn. I was hoping here to find another maybe larger lesion of tar spot, so it's maybe a little bit easier to see. We found one, but a single lesion does not meet an application. I've kind of covered that already. I got a lot of calls here in the last probably day since I've reported it in Dawson County about fungicide timing and all of those decisions that growers have to make. The best time for tar spot is that tassel R1 to R3 time period. That gives you the best protection for a single application throughout grain fill. Tar spot maybe even kind of shifts a little bit later because we don't see tar spot reach kind of that 5% disease level on kind of our canopy that we usually recommend making an application around then. So that 5% is kind of what we shoot for on that ear leaf. So that leaf that comes off of the ear later on in the year, we want to protect that leaf and everything above it, because those are the leaves that really catch all the sunlight and contribute a lot to your yield with corn. I'm finding here again some more northern corn leaf blight, small little lesion. These lesions for northern corn leaf blight will actually get fairly large and can cause significant damage if they continue to elongate and spread and all of that. And so if you don't have any tar spot, should we still apply a fungicide? No. If you don't have disease, don't spray a fungicide. Fungicides are used to control fungal organisms. If you don't have a fungal pest in your field, you probably should not spray a fungicide, especially if we really recommend to scout. I mean, that is, everybody that I've known has never been all that upset with having an agronomist. Okay, that's what we have agronomists for. They do an amazing job. They help us make these very difficult financial decisions. Get them out in your fields, let them scout. They'll tell you when you need to spray or if you need to spray. And I would really say, especially in Buffalo County, farther west, tar spot's not been prevalent in past years, in previous years, to the level to maybe need a fungicide. In counties and states east of us, they have had really large problems with tar spot in the past, so they may need to think more about how they're going to manage this disease. But really, I think the best thing you can do is sit and watch and wait to see if that disease develops. You can actually hear a little bit of thunder behind me. Oh, it's gone now. But I got rained on a little bit. If you can't tell, my pants and boots are quite wet walking through this corn this morning. And so one of the good things that the Crop Protection Network has is a severity estimation tool. So you can estimate, it can help train you to estimate how much of your canopy or a leaf is covered by a disease, defoliation, something like that, and you can really train your eye. And then the other one is a fungicide ROI tool. I don't know the specific name of it, but Crop Protection Network has these two tools that are available under the tool tab on their main webpage, and I would really recommend using those. They do a great job of helping you make those decisions, really based off of research and science, not some sales pitch or something like that. Because one of the things that we do is we, as Extension, really want to help monitor and detect disease and help farmers make educated decisions. We want those decisions to be made not in fear, but through education. And so whenever you see that we're sharing disease, we're not trying to fearmonger and get you to make all these applications. We want you to make those applications knowing that you have maybe that disease in your field, not specifically because you're just going to have super severe disease. I reported 2 lesions of tar spot yesterday, and that's about it. I mean, I've been walking through this field now we're about 15 minutes in, and I've only found that 1 lesion. And so, again, just visit your field, make sure that you're making good, educated decisions, and I think you'll really see a benefit in that, because fungicides are expensive. I mean, there are generics out there. There are some cheaper options, but what we've seen is that those 2 and 3 modes of action, those products work better than a single product that may be a generic. If you were to mix generics that were of different groups, you may get better control similar to that of a product with 2 or 3 modes. I haven't seen a whole lot of research on that, but we do know that those 2 and 3 modes of action work better on tar spot. So just keep that in mind. A single mode of action also has risks for resistance buildup, like we have with our weeds. We used Roundup for 20 plus years, and eventually Roundup failed. We really don't want that happening with our fungicides that we have available to us, because with diseases, we only have really 3 modes of action that are effective on our main row crops here in Nebraska. That's a group 3, a group 7, and group 11. So your DMIs, 8 SDHIs, and your QOIs or strobilurin. Those are our only really good 3 modes of action that we can use for disease management. And we want to be able to use all 3 of those in the future. And so products that have 3 modes of action are really kind of at our top of our recommendation. They are expensive, but you get one good application with one of those 3 modes of action, get a handful of weeks of protection from that application there through grain fill, and I think will be really good. Here this previous year, we had a severe level of southern rust. And so a lot of our fields did need fungicide applications, and I think people did see a difference between applications at a high quality with a product that had multiple modes of action to really fight disease on all sides. You can stop a disease, you can control a disease with 1 mode of action, but having multiple angles, multiple products, multiple active ingredients is really big for getting the best control, and obviously reducing the chance for the breakdown of those products. So I'm still not finding a lot, which makes me feel better, because I walked out here yesterday and I found it probably within 10 minutes. And I found I think 2 lesions in this field yesterday, probably within 10 minutes. And that did surprise me that it was that easy to find. But Today I'm not finding it near as much, so I'm not really concerned at this point. I would like to know what this hybrid is to see what its rating is, to know if we need to think about management in the future. We will actually, fun fact, this field, essentially on the other side of this pivot, we have an on-farm research trial where we are testing Xyway. Xyway LFR at planting. One of the things that this grower wanted to test with that on-farm research is how it impacted crown rot. So crown rot's a disease that causes ghosting at the end of the season, and you'll see those plants go from green to senesced and dead right there at the end of grain fill, and it can impact yield depending on how severe it is throughout the field. So we'll get to see some other impacts because we'll do disease ratings at tassel probably, and then there at the end of the growing season, they're probably R4, R5 to see how maybe Xyway helped with maybe some other disease pressure that we're seeing in the field with potential for tar spot and northern corn leaf blight to develop, since we're already seeing that in the field today. So I see we got 7 people in the group. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody want me to try to find something out here in the field? I can kind of show you what we're looking at. Otherwise, I don't have much more to share, but I am happy to answer any questions or anything like that. I would really recommend following along with the hashtag ScoutNebraska. That's where I post all of my disease updates. Also, we do this live on Fridays at 11 a.m. every week, or are hoping to. This is our second one, and I think it'll be pretty successful. We do have a question about any southern rust. No, we do not have any southern rust in this field. Southern rust does not overwinter in corn. It has to blow up from southern states, and usually we won't see that until the end of July. The past 2 years, we've been unlucky enough with heavy southern winds, optimal conditions to see it in early to mid-July, and that's where we've had issues with disease development, is because that southern rust is really aggressive, and so when you see it early on, it gets more cycles and can ramp up to severe levels. But no, there is no southern rust in this field. Just kind of this northern corn leaf blight lesions. Tar spot and northern corn leaf blight are always just about going to be on the bottom of the leaf, or on the bottom of the canopy, and move its way up, because northern corn leaf blight, tar spot, they do overwinter in all of this residue. So all of this stuff, all this decaying matter down here probably has tar spot that has splashed up onto some of these leaves, and that's when you get symptoms. So awesome. I do really appreciate all the questions and all the people that came and watched. Please keep following along. I think we may get some updates on soybeans next week, so long as nothing crazy happens, and seeing how soybeans look. And so thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream now. I will hopefully see you all here throughout the rest of the season. So thank you very much, guys.